And you're on.
Ooh. Was that loud in your headphones?
It was.
Jeff, you woke me up. Let me tell you.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am very excited to introduce our guest, Mehdi Azarmi. Mr. Mehdi, I don't know how many names and hats you have here in town, but local legend, obviously with Fairway, Contractors, but many, many other things. Tell me a little bit about the hats you wear here in town.
Well, good morning, and again, thank you for inviting me over. I believe that, I've been here 33 years now, 23, yeah, 33 years, and pretty much any project that, they need me, I'll make myself available. And that's one of the issues that, my office manager is complaining about.
Mehdi, quit overcommitting us.
Well, she says that, I have a problem that's saying no.
Yeah.
But again, when you're talking about the youth of the community, you're talking about the veterans and any other project, it would be hard. And again, I've been here 33 years. We, made Fairway Constructors a successful business, and I believe that now that we are getting to the tail end of our work, last time I checked my birth certificate, is getting up there. So it would be my obligation to pay back to the community.
Well, let your office manager know what she considers your problem. We consider our blessing. So we are always fortunate and so happy to have you involved in any projects. It seems like something that's always undervalued is someone's will, and your will to get things done is huge here in town.
Well, I appreciate that, Shane. But again, it is not me. It is the community. I mean, family, has been always a great partner, and we have a lot of, valuable people in the community that, that makes it so unique.
I agree.
And again, when we are talking about government, city government is so cooperative. We are just like one team. And it's not one person. It is basically a whole bunch of leaders and people that are very open. I haven't seen anybody that I call and say that I need your help, and they say no. I don't have time for it. They're always with the open arm. They accept whatever we ask them to do.
Yeah. And now I wanted to ask you. You said 33 years in town.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you before? How'd you get into construction? And I really want to know, why did you choose to give back the way you did? Because not everyone does in your position.
Well, first of all, I came from Michigan. So my education, I have a Bachelor of Science degree in construction engineering, and then I have a Master of Science degree in structural engineering, being a civil engineer from Wayne State University. Actually, last year I was recognized and awarded to be on their Hall of Fame. So I participated in that, and then, as I said, after our education, Michigan was very depressed, so we moved to Scottsdale.
Yeah, Michigan, especially then, was very, very depressed. It's had a little bit of resurgence since, but really, really tough area. Obviously, auto industry, manufacturing, things like that. I'm a Pittsburgh guy, so similar economies.
Yeah, I was there from 76 to 82, 83, and that was a very tough time in Michigan. And we moved to Scottsdale, and was there, so being out of college, it started to work because I was getting sick and tired of the economy not being cooperative with construction. So I was thinking that, well, I'm going to just go ahead and pursue some retail business. So I learned, and maybe I can open up my own chain of convenience stores, CS stores. And I started working for Circle K Corporation. And I built the last 14 Circle Ks in Northeast Phoenix. That was, from, basically involved in the negotiation on the land, and then building and, opening it up and all that. And I noticed that it would be very difficult to, compete with, the big oil companies. So I said, well, I better go ahead and switch back to construction, which I heard about the Boomtown, USA, Bullhead City at the time. So October of '89 was the first, time that I came to Bullhead City from Scottsdale. At that time, Scottsdale wasn't really, that successful in real estate. And I remember in the north end of town, I went to a real estate office, McCormick Realty, and they showed me a couple of lots, and they said, oh, yeah, these are going to be $35,000 each. I said, wow. $35,000, I can buy a really nice, home site in Scottsdale. So we went back and come back 2 weeks later, same, lot was like 40,000. So making long story short, we finally, bought the 3 lots for 45,000 each, because it was every other week, was go up like about 5,000. So that's how I started. And then, my senior partner that is been my partner for 33 years, approached me and said, well, let's do something together. And he's from San Bernardino. He's a civil engineer, Glenn Ludwig. And he and I been partner for 33 years. We never had any dispute, problems, or anything like that. And our goals are basically the same. And as we basically started to get to know and become a Bullheadian, like in this area.
Is that our proper name, Bullheadian?
We make up as we go.
Bullhead people, bullhead folks, Bullheadian. I like that.
So,
We need to talk to Toby and come up with an official name for a Bullheadian.
I have a patent on that. So
We'll put it on some T-shirts, put it back in the community. Yeah.
So, started, to think about what we need to have in the community. And the more you get to know, the more you start to see the need for certain things, especially when you're talking about the youth and you're heavily involved with that to yourself and family, is that, the most deprived class of citizens we have in this area are the kids, the youth of our community, because, they are here not because they wanted to be here. They are here, they were born here, or they were, migrated to our area. You and I, as a grown-up, have a choice. We can go to the casino, we can go to the river, but these youth, they don't have much. And again, that would be our job to make sure that they're taken care of.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to hear that in a community, the youth are probably the most underserved. And because I think by nature, everyone wants to look out for and protect their kids.
Absolutely.
And, here we are finding ourselves, and obviously we have a unique situation with a heavy retirement community, a gambling community, things like that. But it's a real weird thing to say our kids are underserved,
They are.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. I mean, you think about it, there's not much for them. I mean, you go to any, larger cities, they have places to go. They have really nice, large, sophisticated parks. Thank God for, the city management and, Toby, who's done a great job expanding, all these Rotary Park. And, us, in the south, we opened up the Mojave Valley Community Park, which is a very nice, large 39-acre park that, 30 years it took to basically finally Chip Sherrill and I, we got together and we came up with some ideas. And again, the support of the community is just amazing. I mean, anything that we've done, we just received, and I have the numbers for the Mojave Valley Community Park, which is like 39 acres. Just over $1 million was contributed to the park. But based on one of the members of the Legacy Foundation, the value of it is over $20 million.
Oh, wow.
So every dollar was expanded. And again, with the help of, I have pictures of the CEO of the Western Regional Hospital, pushing the wheelbarrow. I had, at that time was Supervisor Moss. Now he's our Honorable Judge Moss. He's having the shovel and doing that. We have a whole bunch of doctors that they were fixing the conduits and everything like that. And that's a nice community. It's built by the community for the community. Again, same thing with, the Rotary Park. There was anytime that they had any issues or anything like that, we come together and we do something so the kids, they would be able to have.
We were just talking about Rotary Park. It's just blowing up right now. They've always, I say always, when we probably first got here, I got here in the early 90s, as a young man, and moved here with my folks. And Rotary Park was mostly bushes.
Yes.
I remember when they put basketball courts in, when they put a skate park in, and now recently outdoor fitness, the pump track, obviously the baseball and softball. Pickleball courts.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit. Firebird Field, I played and I coached a lot of these kids that are now at Mojave High School playing football, and a few that are at River Valley. Still not happy about that, fellas. I'm just kidding. We played on Firebird Field when it was basically a patch of dirt, and then of course a lot of folks in the community came together, brought together that field. brought in that world-class field from the Cheez-It, I think it was the Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah, Fiesta Bowl.
Fiesta Bowl. I think it's Fiesta Bowl Charities. It's from the Cheez-It
Yeah.
Bowl game, maybe. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. But really, really cool. And that field is the best grass in town.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that might be a future home site for some other big things.
Exactly. I mean, what we're trying to do is, for the past 8 years, the community, is behind a project to how to retain our, youth after they finish high school in this area. Again, there are a lot of opportunities, offered to them by Utah, like SUU, or Phoenix, or we have players, that they go to Wyoming, and again we were losing them. We are really, doing a good job getting them up to certain level, and they just migrate out of our area, and we don't see them again. So we really wanted to have Mojave Community College, to be able to have a sport program. So we started this about 8 years ago, but finally it started to have our serious meetings after the new President Stacy, came to our area, and he was open to that suggestion. And we started to expand into, well, what do we do to have a, let's say, soccer program? Because, right now in this area, the number one sport that you see on the kids, the youth of our community are the soccer. And again, we can get 24 boys and 24 girls to be able to be part of the soccer program, and they're going to get the scholarship and all that, so we can retain those in this area.
And we have a unique situation right now where so we have AYSO does a great job, gets all these kids, they come up, well, now they're going to high school. We have both Mojave soccer teams in the playoffs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so you're seeing, he starts here at the youth, goes to the high school level. Well, the next step is something in college.
Right.
And a lot of those kids, and I didn't know, it's actually a unique situation because of the amount of scholarships available for each or whatever. So it's actually a really unique situation getting a scholarship in soccer. But those kids are playing. They're playing somewhere, and there's nowhere here for them to play.
Yeah, I mean, I know that as parents, we always think that, the kids, they think about, the academic and the books and, all that education. But if you really look into it, the sport is very important to them. But the side dish to them is basically, education. So, if we are able to, keep him here, promote the soccer program, and the MCC came a long way. Like 33 years ago when I came here, they had only like one mobile home, and they were teaching
higher education.
Well, yeah, they were teaching like how to
deal cards. Yeah. Dealer school. Yeah.
And that was it. So now you have like a nursing program, which is one of the top-notch programs in the Southwest United States. We have the dental program, hygienist, and all that, which
and
is
it's expanding like crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, and then truck driving, welding. I mean, just keep going and going and going, and we want to keep those here.
Yeah.
And the growth that we had in this area is very awesome. Although it's goes up and down, we have those cycles. But overall, if you look at where we were and where we are right now, we came a long way, and we want to make sure that we create a safe, healthy environment for the youth of our community. You mentioned about the like the success of some of the groups and teams and schools. When Steve Moss and I were basically operating the AYSO, we did it for 6 years. I remember that a couple of times our teams, there were 6 teams that would go to the sectional. They would win their regional and they go to the sectional, and 3 of the 6 teams, they made it to the final among like areas like San Diego and those areas that they have like 2,000-3,000 soccer players, and we only had like over 1,000 or maybe 1,200 players here. So what I'm saying is that the talent is here. All they need is some support. And again, as I said, I'm glad that, the community is behind that, and they're basically trying to, promote those.
Yeah. So I have seen that a little bit myself in my own little football world, and I think you've kind of seen that from being involved and seeing those little Firebird kids, and, they just went from, a high school team that hadn't won in a couple of years to making the playoffs for the first time in I don't know how long. I think we asked Rudy, and I think we disagreed about how long it had been. But but I wanted to ask you a little bit more about why. Like I said, there are not a lot of Medis out there in the world. Now, we're fortunate that there are some. But why did you choose to do this? Why did you choose to spend 6 years in AYCU, spend 30 years developing a park, spend 8 years developing a community college sports program, when you could have very easily just taken the low road, made your money, done whatever you wanted to do, and made sure yours were good? I mean, you really took pride in making sure other people were getting some of the benefits.
Again, I have to mention that I'm not going to take 100% of the credit myself.
I know you never do.
So I would say that we had a great partnership in the community, and the fact is that we have a great opportunity. I mean, it would be hard to say that when I see those kids are running up and down on the on the soccer field or the football field or any of those, that's the satisfaction that you get. I am one of those that I've been here 33 years, and I can assure you that I have not even put a penny or a dime into the casinos. One of my programs that I had in education was advanced statistics, and part of the project was calculating the odds of gambling. And when I basically did that, I think it educated me that I have no chance to do anything good, positive there. So I said, well, the best.
You mean you can't get rich at the casino?
Well, but I mean, anytime that I have people that I know that they go to the casino, I always thank them for investing in our economy.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Right. So, but I mean, the odds are much better on this side of the river, which is the real estate, and working on this side. And again, you get to know, again, in a small town like this, bridge to bridge, about 70,000 people, word of mouth advertising is the best. Your reputation is very important. I always say that if you do something right, they might not talk about it or whatever, but God forbid if you do
Christy,
something
did
wrong.
you put him up to this? This sounds like a Christy line. You're 100% right. We see it so often where why are you doing it? Because that's that person. That's that person,
Yeah.
And it matters, especially in a small town where we need each other.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we don't have any support from federal government. We don't have any support from the state. We don't have anything from the county. They have a very tight budget and everything. And, I mentioned to you earlier, like, you go to, some of the areas like Phoenix area or suburb of, Phoenix, and you see these guys, driving these charter, buses that they have, like, sophisticated, TVs and everything. So I talked to one of them, the team that, River Valley High School made it to the final back in, I guess, 2015 in the soccer program. The girls did that. And I saw this team come to Havasu with the limousine bus, it was plush. I said, what the heck? How do you do it? Well, they said that, I guess, Honeywell wrote a check for $50,000, and they made a promise that if you win the championship, we're going to give you $75,000. Well, we don't have that. What we have is what we have. And again, we have to just, take whatever we can and expand it. And again, a lot of time that it is the locals that are showing up on their time off and day off and all that. And as I mentioned, I have pictures of doctors, doing the plumbing in the park, and then, I think that's the pride of ownership. I
agree. That's a big part. Now, let me ask you a little bit of maybe a social question here. Have you seen a change in the, I don't know if you want to say morale or maybe the investment of people over the 30 years you've been here? Is it about the same? Have people gotten better? I mean, I know I always feel like I see the same 20 people at everything,
Well, to be kind of blunt about it, we 33 years ago, when I came to town, I heard about, there are some core people that have been here forever, and they're the founders of Bullhead City. I guess we can call them like, the good old boys of town.
Yeah, yeah.
And but again, that was decision makers were like just a handful of people that they were in the community, and they meant very well. They did a great job. But the transition that you were talking about is that now that we have more people and active people and all that, that has changed. That has changed to the point that now they're participating in the community, and they're pushing everybody, demanding improvements and things like that we need to have. And again, I have to emphasize that we are very lucky because the city is doing a great job. They're partners with us. I just came back from Fairway with the city staff that we are trying to make improvements. Well, we don't have the budget to make it plush, but what we can do is to get the community to provide some support and expand whatever money we have to make it look really sharp. So I'm saying that yes, I've seen a lot of changes in this community. Right now it's much easier than about 20 years ago if I wanted to do a project. Give you an example of 5 or 6 schools that we did in Fort Mojave Valley, and also even Fox Creek. Chip Sherrill and I, they didn't have the fields. The fields were really trashed, and we got involved, and we were able to revive it again. With the help of the people that we knew, they show up and they did it because it's for the youth. Now, if I want to raise money for a politician, forget it. Nobody is going to give you a penny. It is.
That's funny.
It's going to be like let me think about that.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about hey, we need to do something for the kids and the youth and things like that. Okay, no problem.
I know it's got to be a tough argument because you hate to admit it, but the policies and the politicians really affect how it hits the youth down the line.
True.
And so if people take things in such a bad way, but you really got to think 4 or 5 steps down the road, if you really want to get support for this thing, you got to have the right people in place.
Absolutely. And again, I guess the people, they lost faith in the politicians because they are never involved in the what we are doing. A lot of times, they ask me about you've been here 33 years. Why don't you run for this office or do this? And I always say no. The reason is that, I lose control. I mean, because if you become a politician or you become like somebody, then the magnifying glass is on you. I cannot come to, Shane and say, Shane, could I have couple of $1,000s for this project because I'm a politician, so I cannot do that. So
Yeah.
I'm where I am is perfect. I don't have any strings attached to anything, and I can do more for the community as Mehdi than as somebody else.
Councilman something.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about Fairway Constructors a little bit?
So we can't, and that actually kind of segues into, you had mentioned talking about the economy a little bit, and you have a unique insight with Fairway Constructors as to what goes on in our economy, and some of the numbers that I've heard about people coming in and being from out of town are just staggering numbers. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. First of all, when I came in town back in early 90s, or I would say 89, 90, that I came here, the number of people coming into town was getting up to about 7.5 million. And again, that was based on the number of hotel rooms and, the casino rooms and things like that. Then because of the recession we had in 2007, that dropped to about 2.2 million, and that was the method of calculation was based on the rooms and etc. City of Bullhead City has invested into a new study that is based on the cell phones. How many cell phones are coming into this area now?
They're not tracking you on that cell phone.
Nah,
Don't worry about that. Nah.
But the latest information we have is over 13 million people are coming. That's a large number. There's a big gap that we're not aware of. And again, this is
Did you
because
hear that, Olive Garden? 13 million people come into this town. Bring some dang breadsticks, would you?
Absolutely. And they are the one that they have the money. I mean, look at the Walmart. Walmart, they had only one store, and they had a contract with city that over a span of I think it was 60 months, they can keep their sales tax until a cap. And I think in 22 months they met that, and it's one of the top. It was one of the top 10 producers in the United States. That's why there is a policy that Walmart has that they're not going to build a second one within 10 miles of the first one. But then you saw that they opened up one in Fort Mojave within 6 miles or whatever. And again, the reason is that, the money was there. In the first one, they didn't pay much for the land. It was like a negotiation with the property owners and all that. The second one, they paid to the nose for it. So they see, and I asked them because, I was involved as at that time, I think I was the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the Mojave County. And I was talking to the gentleman who was in charge of the real estate, and he was an attorney. I said, "Can I see a copy of your feasibility study or marketing?" He says that I don't have it, and only a handful in the board they have that information. So what I'm saying is that they saw something that I don't know, and I just can predict that it would be really successful for the next 20 years because their plans are like 20 years time like that. So this area has a great potential to grow. It has a great potential for it's a retirement community. The backbone of our economy is the retirees that we have. They're the richest class of United States. They're coming from Southern California. And Southern California, as you know, they're having all kinds of problems. California in general is
No
having
way. Not California.
So they have issues that they don't know how to address, and the cost of living is extremely high. If I remember it right, when national cost of living is 100%, California is at 149%, and here Bullhead is about, I think, if I remember it right, 86%. So there is a very large gap between when they move here and they have more freedom. They can, drive their Razor everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
At all hours of the night.
So what I'm saying is that, the richest class of United States, which is the baby boomers, are migrating to our area. And, the difference is like back in 90 when I was building homes, I built I think the 33 years I built over 1,050 homes in this area of 7 subdivisions. And, they used to have like a 2,200 square foot home, 2-car garage. Now it is basically like a 1,1700 square foot home and 5,000 square foot garage.
As you see on the picture.
Exactly. And again, the toys they keep in their garage is more expensive than the houses.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's basically the fact of the migration of the Californians here. They're having all kinds of problems over there, and they can hardly wait to move this way.
So, during COVID, it was really fascinating. Our area was almost shielded in some way, and a lot of that was because we were open and we were free.
Sure.
And people were coming in from other places that were not.
Sure.
And so I have a little boat. It's a Shockwave boat. And so we have a group of friends that are all Shockwave owners and this and that. And I want to say 3 or 4 of them bought homes in our area during COVID.
First of all, they don't call those boats; they call it yacht.
Yeah.
I have a rowboat. Some of them have
Yeah.
yachts. I always joke. I go out and I'm super happy in my little bitty boat, and then my buddies fly by and their boats are double what mine is. I'm like,
The yachts.
whatever. Later, guys. I'll be back here floating. But it's really fascinating to see that, like, the real world examples of that. And then, of course, what do those people need to pull their boats?
Big truck. Chevy.
Absolutely.
Like it's a really unique economy, and people who don't understand it, like Olive Garden.
No, we have a very much, very large migration of, people that are coming our way. And they're as I said, they call it baby boomers. The generation before them, they were very conservative. They wanted to save money. They wanted to, not to spend. These guys want to live the life. I mean, they want the best truck. They want the best boat. They want the best everything. Mm-hmm. And obviously, that's what you see. That's what you see on a lot of these. You go to the river, as you said, or you go to the lake, and you see all those nice, things and the nice trucks. And you guys have the nice, most beautiful trucks, anyway.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank
That's
you.
what we're just remember: buy the house, the boat, and the truck.
That's right.
So, Mehdi, I want to ask you. Obviously, we're talking about Walmart having a 20-year plan. What's Mehdi's 5-year, 10-year for his projects? Now, you've had some projects that have been long-term, but what's your 5-year, what's your 10-year look like?
Well, I'm right now 65 going to 66. And, I kind of had to take a time off this last Christmas to think about like what I'm going to do, because, when you're working, you cannot stop. And I cannot think about, sitting home for like 3 days. I don't know what to do with myself. So, so for that reason, I think as long as I am vertical, I'm going to keep going. And when I become horizontal, then it is what it is.
That's funny. Never heard of that.
Well, we got to keep you on your feet then. We got to keep you upright.
That's what's going on. My full-time job is the community, and my part-time job is basically my Fairway Constructors. But I have a strong team. I have a great team. Tracy, my office manager, is the backbone of our organization. She's been with me 27, 28 years, and I have other members that, some contractors the same way. So they really don't need me. But I'm just show off, to
They just
say,
let you come around and.
oh, yeah, yeah. And just as I said, so I think I am in a semi-retirement, but the semi-retirement I spend time with, the clubs and the community projects and things like that. This morning at 7:00, we had a Bighorn Booster Club meeting with everybody that was at the table, trying to see how we would be able to make that successful for the soccer program. Right after that, I had a meeting in Firebird, to talk about like the concession building and things like that, it needs some face up or like, some cleaning and, maybe upgrading it and things like that. Just like what we did for the Mojave High School concession stand just recently. They needed help and they don't have the budget, and we have that availability with the community that they're willing to step up and take care of it. So why not?
Yep. And I'll tell you, as a guy, there's Finley Shane. There's Dad Shane. This is Mojave Shane.
Sunshine.
But without you guys, stuff just can't get done. You would like to think that the schools have the ability and the means, and they are trying their best, but they are trying to teach kids. They don't have the ability to build a project, start a thing, do a whatever, gather materials, and stuff like that doesn't get done without the support of you guys. So from Mojave, I'm sure they gave you a nice thank you, but from the Mojave side of Shane, huge thank you, and from the community side, huge thank you. You guys, I say you guys because you take no credit for anything ever.
Well, the fact is that, the big thank you goes back to you. You're spending a lot of time with the youth as the coach and assistant coach and all that. And, people like you are the one that are in the dealing with the kids,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Us is basically we are available to do whatever we can do to make it easier for the kids to have a better quality of, life in our area. Again, our money is very limited. The sources and resources available to us is very limited. But again, we have to just make sure that we are not sending our money out of the area. Yes, I'm building a lot of homes and I buy a lot of things from Home Depot. But Lori, who is the general manager at Home Depot, the first day that I met her, I said, remember one thing: if you stop contributing to the community, that's the day that I'm going to stop buying anything from you. And I can tell you, I can show you the texts that I'm getting. Well, Mehdi, I have this. Do you like it for park or whatever? Yeah, sure. Send it over. They're contributing. They're helping and all that. Those who are not going to contribute and they want to take our money and go outside of our area, meaning EPCOR, we know how to deal with them,
right.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you that we are on an island out here in a way,
Sure,
and obviously in the car business, it's very direct. You shop out of town, you spend that money out of town, you do whatever. We directly contribute so much in town, and very intentionally. We value that, and we hope it comes back to us tenfold. Same as if people are doing the same for them. So.
Well, you're part of the community, and you're a part of the large family that we have. And again, as I said, the word recognition that you have in this area, it's important. Word of mouth advertising. So if, let's say, the Californians are moving here and they say, well, I'm thinking about whatever. Well, go see, family. Because that's what we want to do. Again, right. We want to be part of that. We have a network that we are supporting each other to be successful, so we would be able to tax ourselves. I call it community tax.
Yeah.
And we want to.
I like that. We're gonna put that on our paperwork. Community tax.
And that's what that's what we have to do. We have to just pay back to our community because we made our money here.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, Uncle Sam is taking a good chunk of our money. The state is taking for the state of.
They're not giving enough back.
No, for the state of Maricopa. State of Maricopa is sucking the blood out
Kingdom
of us.
Maricopa. Yep, absolutely.
So,
we were talking about that with the school funding. Like it's such a unique puzzle to get money to these schools.
Yeah.
It goes into Maricopa and it does not come back out.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So as much as you can keep your money, your time, and everything else here locally, try to do it because it comes back. We were talking about some sponsorships and things before the show, and I don't like getting into the money stuff because it gets a little weird. But the amounts of money that this guy contributes and supports in things from literally one end of town to the next. You're talking about Mojave Valley Park up to Rotary Park, back up to Findlay, like
anywhere.
We're talking Laughlin Ranch for golf tournaments, stuff like that, and that doesn't happen if people don't support locally.
No. I mean, we are part of a large family. I mean, yes, we have people that they sit home and they don't want to participate, or I don't want to call them stingy, but yes, I mean, we have.
Man, Mehdi's getting all the stuff out I can't say. I'm so excited right now.
Did they say that?
Yeah.
But anyway, we have on the other hand, for every single one of those, we have like 10 other ones that they're contributing. They're open arm. Even if they don't have the money, they come out and help.
And the crazy thing is, if everyone did go in and support, it would benefit everyone more than the
Exactly.
And so we get it, and we feel the same way. Every time we do a project, what's the first thing we do? We check local vendors, check local options, check local whatever. And what's really unfortunate is it has been tough during COVID with supply things and whatnot. They have told us to go find it elsewhere, and that's not a knock on them. That's just the reality that they're dealing with, and they don't want to let us down.
Sure.
But it's good to see it coming back where we can go back to local people. They have the supplies, they have the manpower, they have the whatever. So do you have an issue keeping employees, hiring employees in this area?
Well, we are in a construction management team, and then we have the subcontractors that are working.
So they have the issues.
They have the issues. Oh yeah, big time. I mean, I can write a book about it. I mean, I'll give you one example. About a year ago or so, I had a framing crew. There were about 9 of them. I went to the job and there were 5. I said, what happened, to the lead guy? I said, well, 4 of them were from California. They came here and they stayed here, meaning with family and all that. But then, the state of California started to give them free money. So they basically, the four guys are going to, California. They pick up the money, and then Governor Newsom give them a bonus of $1,000 for sitting home doing nothing. And then, they're working for cash for 30 hours a week. So 3 days they're in California, 4 days they're with their family here. They're making $75 an hour. How would I be able to match that? There's nothing. So what I'm saying is that, we are benefiting from the state of California.
It's pretty hard to compete with the state.
Exactly, with them. But at the same time, we are benefiting from them because we are getting some good conservative people moving to our area. But at the same time, we have a side effect of as I said, problems that we have over there. But overall, I think that our community is bringing very good group of people. That's why you don't see any major problems or anything like that here, and the police department is doing a great job. So I think that this is going to carry on. I mean, I see that we have these bumps on the road because of mismanagement, in my opinion, of the way that the federal government is controlling the economy. Instead of printing the money and floating it into the hands of people, and then they have to control that by raising the interest rate, which is going to be a major headache for you because the cars are going to go up in that far, and then major problems for home buyers.
For almost 2 years we saw no incentivized financing because the rates were low and this and that. And we're starting to see it now where the manufacturers coming back out with their discounted rates to kind of offset that. And we would rather it not be that way. We'd rather things were just healthier in general, but such is the nature of the economy right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They print the money on one hand and then raise the interest rate on the other hand. So, what are you doing?
Yeah. As me as a big dumb man, I feel the pinch and it just drives me crazy, So we were joking the other day. I had Jeff, Christy, did you see our Chinese spy balloon on the show? We were laughing. We are like, man, you got a giant spy balloon floating over the country, and you couldn't figure out what to do with it till it was offshore. Like, what are we doing here?
6,500 miles it traveled before they shot it.
Yes, like
6,500.
I think we shot ours down in like a minute. Not even a minute.
I showed them how we do that. We pop that balloon, we
20
get it out of
seconds.
there. So, but we were talking, and it was like, you know, I've seen enough movies. I guess my expectations aren't realistic. Like, I want to get somebody up there, see what they're doing, see what's going on. Like, it's a balloon. We can't get something up there. Like,
Well, I'm sure you listened to the excuse they had is that, well, we don't want it to fall on somebody else's. I mean, come on.
well, at one point it was over Montana or something. Like 99% of Montana is empty.
Anywhere, the path that they had, you know, there was
Would have landed on a scrub brush that was endangered or something. You know.
dropping it on the ocean, drop it on a lake, you know.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's
that's-
crazy times, you know, and I'll go back to and I'll close with this, and I'll get you. I'm sure you're a busy guy. I could sit here and talk to you all day, but it's all the more reason why it's so important that small communities support one another.
Absolutely.
Because that's who we can count on: our neighbors, our friends, people like that. That's who you got to count on, because at the end of the day, who else do you got?
And again, I'm going to use this tribune to invite whoever wants to contribute or wants to physically help in any of the projects. We always have projects in the community that we can assign. We have great, groups like, Mojave Sunrise Rotary Club that are always involved in the projects and all that. So if you are available and you're interested, give me a call, give Shane a call. We can basically give you, some projects to do.
So, Mehdi, is there a place where people can find those things? Because you know what's funny, and I bet you Christy has this experience too. Christy, has this ever happened to you? People are like, oh, I didn't know about that. I wish I would have known. I would have helped.
All the time.
Like, we try and do a pretty good job of putting things out there, getting information. Is there a place that you recommend people maybe follow on Facebook, or a website that kind of keeps people in the loop?
Well, of course. I mean, any of you, like any of our group that, they approach, meaning like Mojave Sunrise Rotary Club, or, Finley, or, any of the Fairway Constructors. I have people that they call me at Fairway Constructors and say, well, we heard
We get that at work too.
Yeah, so I mean that, I have this thing available. Would that work for you? Like, give an example.
Uh-oh.
We lost them.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. But
We're
anyway,
starting over. Oh.
No. I was trying to show that this is what I was trying to show.
Yeah,
you.
but what I'm saying is that, they had a lot of palm trees that they wanted to get rid of.
There's
They
a
were like-
number for you guys out there.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I was trying to show.
Yeah, and again, you were more than welcome to.
We just bombarded
display.
this poor office manager who's already dealing with all Mehdi's community stuff.
I can provide my cell phone number too. It's 928-303-4443. So you're more than welcome to text me or call me on that. But I'm saying that they had 26 palm trees that they wanted to get rid of. So they called us, and we basically get the team together. They brought it and we planted at the park. So it doesn't have to always be the $100 bill. It can be products that they have.
That's what I call connecting dots.
Absolutely.
So many times there are want and need, and they just can't find each other. And when you can connect the right people, so many good things happen. And
Most definitely.
sir, you are a dot connector extraordinaire.
Well,
For sure.
I'm one of the team players. We are part of a team. So you are part of it. Family is part of it. Important part of it, actually. I mean, you guys celebrate Teacher of the Year, Students of the Week, Athletic of the Year. I mean, you're always everywhere, contributing.
And Mehdi, a lot of that started because of conversations we had in years past about people not being aware of the good folks in town. And again, going back to taking no credit, it was because of conversations with folks like yourself at morning rotaries, things like that kind of sparked a lot of those things that we have gotten involved in.
I appreciate that.
Sir,
Thank you.
it's a pleasure
Thank you much.
always,
I
and you
appreciate
are welcome
that.
back anytime.
I
If you
appreciate
ever have a
that.
project or something that you want to talk about, we are happy to mention it on our Tuesday show.
Most definitely.
But you have a open invite. Come back anytime you want. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was great, talking to you.
Yeah, it's nice to have a chance to actually sit and talk with someone for a period of time instead of in passing in parking lots all the time. So
Thanks for
I
coming
appreciate
on.
you taking the time.
My pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Gonda, appreciate the help.
All right. We'll see you all on next Tuesday.
All right, see ya.
All righty.